I stood in the hotel lobby, watching my parents laugh with my brother Marcus and his wife. They were celebrating their 35th anniversary at one of the nicest resorts in Asheville. Everyone was dressed up, champagne glasses already in hand. Everyone except me. "Oh, honey, don't look so sad," my mom said, patting my shoulder. "We got you a room too. It's just, well, it's in the older wing. But you'll be fine." Marcus smirked. "Yeah, Jenna. Not all of us can afford the luxury suites. Some of us have to budget." I forced a smile. My entire life, it had been like this. Marcus was the golden child. The successful one. The one who married well, had the perfect job, drove the luxury car. I was the disappointment. The single one. The one still finding herself at 32. But what they didn't know is that I'd been finding myself very well. For the past 6 years, I'd been quietly building something. Something big. "It's totally fine," I said. "I'm just happy to be here." My dad handed me a key card. Room 112. Ground floor. "It's small, but it has a bed." I took it. Said nothing. As they walked toward the elevator, laughing about their ocean view suites and complimentary wine baskets, I stood there. Alone. Invisible. Then my phone buzzed. "Miss Hartley, we've confirmed your executive access for the weekend. Please let us know if you need anything. The penthouse is ready." I looked up at the gleaming chandelier above me. At the marble floors. At the resort I'd purchased 8 months ago. They had no idea. Not yet. But they were about to find out. I walked down the hallway toward room 112. The cheap room they'd given me. I slid the keycard in and pushed the door open. It was small. Outdated. The wallpaper was peeling in one corner, and the view was a brick wall. There was a double bed with a faded comforter and a tiny bathroom that smelled like old soap. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall. This was how they saw me. Always had. Growing up, Marcus got the college fund. I got a part-time job at 16. Marcus got the car for graduation. I got a bus pass. Marcus got their approval, their pride, their attention. I got the leftovers. But I didn't complain. I worked. I saved. I learned. I started freelancing in college, building websites for small businesses. Then I moved into digital marketing. Then consulting. Then acquisitions. By 27, I'd made my first million. By 30, I had a portfolio of rental properties and 2 successful online businesses. By 32, I owned a boutique hotel chain, including this one. But I never told them. Why would I? They never asked. They assumed I was still struggling, still barely getting by. And I let them think that. Because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see how far they'd go. How little they thought of me. And now I knew. I pulled out my phone and opened the email from my property manager. "All systems ready for the weekend. Staff briefed. Penthouse suite prepared under your name. Shall we proceed with the standard guest protocol, or would you like a custom arrangement?" I smiled. "Custom," I typed back. "Let's make this interesting." That evening, the family gathered in the main dining room for dinner. It was a private event my parents had booked months ago. White tablecloths, candlelight, live piano music. The works. I arrived last, wearing a simple black dress. Nothing flashy. I didn't need to be. "There she is," my dad said, waving me over. "We were wondering if you got lost." "Just freshening up," I said, sliding into the only empty seat at the table. It was at the far end. Away from my parents. Away from Marcus and his wife, Stephanie. Marcus raised his wine glass. To Mom and Dad. 35 years of love, commitment, and putting up with us. Everyone laughed. Clinked glasses. I sipped my water. "So, Jenna," Stephanie said, leaning forward with that fake sweet smile she always wore. "How's the job hunt going? Still doing the freelance thing?" "Something like that," I said. "Well, don't worry," she continued. "I'm sure you'll find something stable soon. It just takes time." Marcus nodded. "Yeah, you've got to be patient. Not everyone finds success right away." I wanted to laugh, to scream, to flip the table, but I didn't. You're right, I said. Patience is everything. My mom reached across and squeezed my hand. We're proud of you, honey. You're doing your best. That's what matters. Doing my best. As if I were some charity case. Some struggling child they had to encourage. I pulled my hand away gently. Thanks, Mom. The waiter appeared with the first course. As he set down the plates, he leaned slightly toward me and whispered, Miss Hartley, the chef wanted to confirm your preferences for tomorrow's brunch. I nodded. Tell him everything's perfect. The waiter left. Marcus frowned. Why did he call you Miss Hartley? I smiled. Maybe he's just polite. After dinner, everyone went back to their rooms. My parents were giddy, tipsy from wine. Marcus and Stephanie were talking about hitting the spa in the morning. I walked alone. Back to room 112. I changed into sweatpants and a hoodie, then slipped out through the side exit. I took the staff elevator up to the 10th floor. The penthouse level. My key card opened the door to the owner's suite. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A private balcony overlooking the mountains. A king bed with luxury linens. A marble bathroom with a soaking tub. A full bar, a grand piano, and a view that could make you cry. This was mine. I poured myself a glass of wine and stood at the window, looking down at the resort below. The pool glowed blue in the night. Guests wandered the gardens. Lights twinkled. I built this. Not Marcus. Not my parents. Me. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Hope your room is okay, sweetie. Love you. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled up the weekend itinerary. My staff had prepared a full report. My parents had booked the anniversary dinner, a couple's massage, a sunset cruise, and a private chef brunch. All of it billed to a card Marcus had provided. A card I knew was nearly maxed out. I'd seen the credit report 6 months ago when he'd applied for a loan using our parents as co-signers. He was drowning in debt. The fancy car, the designer clothes, the luxury vacation photos on Instagram, all of it was smoke and mirrors. And our parents had no idea. But I did. And tomorrow, at brunch, I was going to make sure everyone else did too. The next morning, I woke up in the penthouse and ordered room service. Fresh coffee, eggs Benedict, fruit. I ate on the balcony, watching the sun rise over the mountains. My phone rang. It was my property manager, David. Morning, Miss Hartley. Just wanted to confirm, you're still planning to join the family brunch? I am. And you want me to handle the introduction? Yes. But wait for my signal. Understood. I hung up and got dressed. A crisp white blouse, tailored black pants, heels. Professional. Confident. I looked like someone who owned things. Because I did. I took the staff elevator back down and walked through the lobby. A few employees nodded at me. One whispered to another. They knew who I was. But my family didn't. I made my way to the private dining terrace where brunch was being held. My parents were already seated, along with Marcus and Stephanie. There was a gorgeous spread, pastries, smoked salmon, champagne, fresh flowers. Jenna, my mom said brightly. You made it. We were worried you'd sleep in. Wouldn't miss it, I said, sitting down. Marcus poured himself champagne. This place really is something. I'm thinking Steph, and I should book a weekend here next month. Stephanie nodded. It's so elegant. And surprisingly affordable for what you get. Affordable? I said. Well, you know, compared to the places we usually stay. I bit my tongue. The waiter brought out the first course. As he placed the plates, Marcus waved him over. Hey, do you have any local beer on tap? The waiter hesitated, glancing at me. I gave a small nod. Of course, sir. I'll bring a menu. Marcus grinned. See? Service here is great. My dad raised his glass. To 35 years. And to family. Everyone clinked. Except me. I just smiled. And waited. We were halfway through brunch when the manager appeared. David was in his 50s, sharp suit, warm smile. He walked directly to our table. "Good morning, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your stay." My dad stood and shook his hand. "We are. This place is incredible. You're on a tight ship." David smiled. "Thank you, sir. But I can't take all the credit." He turned to me. "That belongs to Miss Hartley." Silence. My mom blinked. "I'm sorry." David gestured toward me. "Ms. Jenna Hartley. She's the owner of this resort." The color drained from Marcus's face. Stephanie's mouth fell open. My dad looked at me confused. "Jenna, what is he talking about?" I set down my fork. "He's talking about the fact that I bought this property 8 months ago, along with 2 others in the state." My mom laughed nervously. That's not possible." "It is," David said. "Ms. Hartley has been very hands-on. She oversees operations, staff training, guest experience. She's here most weekends." Marcus finally spoke. "You're lying." I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. On the screen was the deed to the property. My name. My signature. "No," I said. "I'm not." My dad stared at the phone, then at me. "How?" "I worked," I said simply. "For years. I built a business. I invested. I saved. And I bought things. Like this resort." Stephanie looked like she might be sick. Marcus's hands were shaking. My mom whispered, "Why didn't you tell us?" I met her eyes. "Because you never asked." The table went silent. David cleared his throat. "I'll leave you to your meal. Miss Hartley, if you need anything, I'm available." He left. And I sat there, watching my family try to process the truth. "This is insane," Marcus said, his voice tight. "You're telling me you've been rich this whole time and just, what? Pretending to struggle." "I wasn't pretending," I said. "I just didn't correct your assumptions." "That's the same thing." "No," I said firmly. "It's not. You assumed I was failing because I didn't brag. Because I didn't show off. Because I didn't need your approval." Stephanie's face was red. "So you just let us think you were some broke freelancer? You thought that on your own." My dad rubbed his temples. "Jenna, this is a lot to take in." "I know." My mom looked hurt. "Why would you keep this from us? We're your family." "Because you treated me like I was less than Marcus my entire life," I said. The words came out harder than I intended, but I didn't take them back. "You gave him everything. The college fund. The car. The attention. The pride. I got nothing. So I built my own life. And I didn't need you to see it." "That's not fair," my dad said. "Isn't it?" I looked at him. "You gave me a key card to the worst room in this hotel. You didn't even ask if I wanted to share a suite. You just assumed I couldn't afford anything better." My mom's eyes filled with tears. "We didn't mean it like that. But that's how it felt." Marcus slammed his hand on the table. "Oh, come on. You're really going to play the victim here? You're a millionaire, Jenna. You've been fine." "I have," I said. "But not because of you." He stood up. "This is ridiculous. I'm not sitting here and listening to this." "Sit down, Marcus," I said quietly. "Why should I?" I smiled. "Because we're not done yet." Marcus sat back down slowly. His jaw was clenched. I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. I set it on the table. "What's that?" Stephanie asked. "Credit reports," I said. "Bank statements. Loan applications." Marcus's face went white. I opened the folder and slid a document toward my parents. 6 months ago, Marcus applied for a $100,000 personal loan. He listed you both as co-signers. My dad picked up the paper, frowning. "We never co-signed anything." "Exactly," I said. "He forged your signatures." My mom gasped. "Marcus, is this true?" Marcus didn't answer. I pulled out another document. He also has $47,000 in credit card debt, $18,000 on his car loan. And his mortgage is 3 months behind. Stephanie's hands were shaking. "Jenna, stop." "Why?" I said. "You've spent years making me feel small. Making me feel like I wasn't good enough. And the whole time, you were broke. Faking it. Living on credit. Marcus's voice cracked. Shut up. You parked your leased BMW in front of Mom and Dad's house every Sunday and acted like you were successful. You posted vacation photos you couldn't afford. You bought Stephanie a diamond bracelet with a card that was already maxed out. Stop it, Marcus shouted. But I didn't. You've been lying to everyone, I said. And you almost dragged Mom and Dad down with you. My dad looked at Marcus, his face pale. Is this true? Marcus's shoulders slumped. He didn't speak. Stephanie started crying. My mom covered her mouth with her hand. I closed the folder. I paid off the loan application before it went through. I made sure your credit wasn't affected. But I wanted you to know the truth. My dad whispered, why? Because I'm tired of being invisible. The table was silent. Marcus wouldn't look at anyone. Stephanie was wiping her eyes with a napkin. My parents sat frozen, trying to process everything. Finally, my dad spoke. Jenna, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, I said. I just needed you to see me. Really see me. Not as the kid who didn't measure up. Not as the one you had to worry about. But as the person I actually am. My mom reached for my hand. I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't realize. I know, I said. But that's the problem. You never asked. You never wondered. You just assumed. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I looked at Marcus. I don't hate you. But I'm done pretending that everything's fine. I'm done shrinking so you can feel big. He finally met my eyes. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. I know, I said. But it did. Stephanie whispered, what happens now? I stood up. Now, you figure your life out. Get real jobs. Pay off your debt. Stop faking success. And maybe one day, we can actually be a family. I turned to my parents. Your stay here is fully comped. Enjoy your anniversary. Enjoy the resort. It's yours for the weekend. My dad stood. Jenna, please. I'm not angry, I said. I just need space. I walked away from the table, through the terrace, and back into the resort. David was waiting near the lobby. How did it go? Exactly how it needed to, I said. He nodded. Your car is ready whenever you are. Thank you. I walked outside into the sunlight, took a deep breath, and smiled. For the first time in my life, I felt free. 3 months later, things were different. Marcus called me once a week now. Not to brag. Not to ask for money. Just to talk. He'd gotten a real job, sales, nothing glamorous, but it was honest. He and Stephanie were in therapy. They'd sold the BMW and bought a used sedan. They were trying. My parents visited me at my main office in Charlotte. My mom cried when she saw the building with my name on it. My dad didn't say much, but he hugged me longer than he ever had before. We had dinner that night. A quiet place downtown. No champagne. No performance. Just us. I'm proud of you, my dad said. I should have said that years ago. I'm proud of you too, my mom added. And I'm sorry. For everything. I nodded. I forgive you. And I meant it. We weren't perfect. We probably never would be. But we were trying. And that was enough. As for me, I kept building. Kept growing. Kept investing in myself. Because I'd learned something important that weekend in Asheville. You don't need anyone's permission to be successful. You don't need anyone's approval to be proud of yourself. You just need to show up. Work hard. And believe that you're worth it. Even when no one else does. Especially then. I stood up from the table, looked at my parents, and smiled. Thanks for coming, I said. Thanks for inviting us, my mom said. We walked out into the night together. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe for more dramatic tales of justice, revenge, and family truths. You won't want to miss what's coming next.